Chief, would you push the start button, please?
Today, November 20th, 2022, let the Tilton Northfield Fire EMS Committee meeting come to order. Hello. Both records.
I know, it's been more than 2 weeks. I had COVID 2 weeks ago.
Has everybody had a chance to review the 2 sets of minutes we have? One set is from September. The other is last meeting.
I make a motion to approve the September 21 minutes as presented.
Second.
Who seconded that?
Aaron, did everybody have a chance to read those?
Thank you.
All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I abstain.
Opposed, 1 abstention, okay. Everybody good with the,
Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as written.
second? Has everybody had a chance to look at those? So people just start reading. All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. All right, we left off on salaries and wages. Do we want to pick up there? So, anybody? We, the last figure we had was the 1,625,000.
Yep.
Looks like the commissioners lowered another 10,000 in the line item. Let's look at last one.
The commissioners haven't changed anything since our last meeting.
Yeah, that's the same.
Oh, I'm looking at it.
Jason, will you refresh my memory on the 1,625,000?
Right,
That's
so
it.
what I did is I took the 2022 appropriation, not based on any actual expenditures, because we were 10 months in. Now we have 11 months, if I'm looking at this correctly, is all in. This is
That is still at 10 months. That
This
is
is
not.
still at 10 months,
Yes.
so we don't know what our 11th month.
Right.
Okay, so I think what I had done is I had taken the 10 months, divided it, got a monthly average, rolled that back in. It put us under we were under the appropriation, we were a little under. So I took the appropriation anyway, for the sake of argument, to be a little, just in case it came in at that number, multiplied by 5%. Then I did like a rough a rough number of like 50K for holiday pay, 250 for overtime, and then I think I did like 60 or 70 for the call salaries. Trying to take an average of the last 3 years. And it got us into $1.6 million, and I think then I bumped it up and said, okay, I'll go another 25,000 and say 165, just so there'd be an extra 20 or 22,000 around to move within those lines, because we weren't really supposed to call out the line, so I just took a number, but then I backed it into those 4 categories to show that it could be done and still get at least a 5% lift.
What was your total?
165, Charlie. I think I came down 90 off the, I was originally on $1,602,000 or something, so I just went another 23 to round it up, from 90K up down off the commissioners.
That would be your budget for 23.
What's that?
That would be your budget for 23.
Yep. Tried to either level fund the smaller lines or take 3-year averages and then put a 5% lift into the career salaries.
What did the, I didn't remember what the 2022, what was the wage increase? Was that big percentage?
It was around 9%. I don't remember exactly, but it's right
I
around.
think it was around 9.
To get it up to $19.62 somewhere in there.
Yeah, it went from $17 and something to $19 and something.
So that's what I did. So I took 1.2 on the career salaries. I took 1.2 million multiplied by 1.05. Then I did 50K on the holiday pay, 250 on the overtime, and that left like 60K. And then yeah, it left about 60K into the call salaries, which is about that 3-year average.
Is this about what we were talking about last meeting, right? Was
This is
about
the one that
same-
failed.
Same
but
number?
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
that was at the end of the minutes. And I didn't really, get too technical into each line because it's really not our job, but we break it down that way. I really was looking to level fund in a lot of areas, but I still think we should do a 5%, at least a 5% lift for the cost of living.
But you built 5% into this
I
number.
took the 1.2 2022 appropriation, and I lifted that by 5%. So I rounded up. I rounded the 1.191. I rounded it to 1.2 million, and then multiplied by 1.05. And then I just added 50K for holiday pay. If you're looking at a 3-year average, I think 50K is pretty generous. They're looking at 250 for overtime. Again, looking at 3-year average, 250K is pretty generous given the 3-year average. It still left 60K. Now, if those 2 smaller categories come in less, I mean, if holiday pay is flat to the last year or the year before that, that just means you take that 60K, you might be 70K with call salaries. Or, if overtime stays level or, goes to one of the, reflects a previous year, okay. It won't go too far back because we've added staff, so you're not, your overtime line is got to be pretty close because we're running with more folks on, so it's going to use similar overtime producers. So that left 60K, but,
Jason, I can give you numbers through November except for the call company.
all right.
So, career salaries and wages are $1,094,000. $711. Holiday pay is $46,873.
Yep.
Overtime pay is $240,518.
So it's coming in close to
It
the
is.
appropriation, which is
Yes.
fine.
I can't give the call company because
Yeah, that's
that's
all right.
still back in October.
Yep. But even that actual of 40,000 is a true number, because that's an October number,
Right,
right?
right.
So even if we averaged another 4,000 for this month and another 4,000 for next month, you're not even gonna break 50K. But I'd like, you know, like the chief said, he'd like to leverage that department, that aspect of the department more, so go 60 or whatever, you know.
Anybody else?
Well, for me, the only one I see, I think the call salaries is high compared to what we've been spending. And looking down the road a little bit, because next year we have to, you know, figure out how to pay for the grant guys in the budget. I think a decent savings we could do for that would be to take 40K out of that and drop it to 60. And I think that will give it enough wiggle room and give a little bit more money freed up for that other project. That's kind of where I'm at.
So you're suggesting taking 40,000 out of the total,
Yeah. Yeah,
Of
so bring
what?
it
of
down.
which one?
Of the call salaries, bump it
No, of
to,
the
which total?
commissioners or the chiefs?
commissioners. So bring it down to 60,000 total. We'll be at 1657.
I got 1675, did I do it wrong?
No, you did it right. It would be 1675258. If you drop the call salaries to 60,000.
That's 50,000 more than Jason's.
So looking at the, just, I thought this would be interesting to say, is if I rounded up the 2022 appropriation for the career salaries, if I rounded that to 1.2 for the sake of argument and multiplied it by 5%, I'm only like $21,000 below the commissioner's number in that line. So I'm not far off target on that, and I'm using 5%. It's the other lines that are, you know, a little inflated from
The other lines
our bigger.
but the other lines relate to that because it's based on, holiday time is based on the wages, it's not, whatever the salary is.
Right, but that's the biggest number to, if you're gonna affect the COLA, you throw in the biggest number. Yeah, you can trickle in over the overtime and. But I think the overtime numbers and the holiday number seem to be bigger than it should be.
Anybody else?
I think if we, I don't want to say, it, you're looking at, if we're gonna go over it this year in overtime, I don't see us not going over based on the number that you just gave us of 240, leaves us $7,000 roughly for the next 31 days, and I don't see us not going that. I think it's important that one of the things that we're fortunate is that we don't have a lot of turnover, and every one of these firefighters has an intangible, you know, they know the buildings, they know the town of Tilton, and we're not having a lot of that turnover, and that's by, you know, keeping a competitive wage. I mean, we're not even that high on the competitive scale, and I understand, you know, that, but based on the, I don't have that sheet that she gave us before, but we were down in the lower part of that number, even with an
There
increase.
was only one lower than us, and that was Franklin, I believe.
Yeah, I thought there was another one as well.
And I thought Franklin was one.
So the taxpayers have to be able to afford it.
So,
No,
so let me,
Nobody's got.
But
let me
I'm-
ask you this, Eric, is a COLA just used to reward the folks that are here, or are you using the COLA to increase your street hiring base pay? Because a COLA to me is you're giving everybody a cost of living adjustment for everybody that's on the books. It's not about hiring the new guy off the street and giving him another 5%. That's a different step in pay increase. We're talking about a 5% COLA for everybody that's on board. So all those other hiring wages don't really matter to me as far as this conversation.
And Mulberry
Everything's
Street was a
based-
9% COLA.
Everything's based off the hiring wage, everybody's salary, all the way up the line.
If you hired, all right, so if you hired somebody brand new, you would take the base rate and give them a 5% COLA, even if they weren't hired within the budget year?
So, the starting pay right now is at $19 and change.
Yep.
whatever it is. By doing a COLA, the COLA is to adjust the salaries of everybody's, to try and compensate for the cost of living.
And, right, but
And
not,
that's including starting people and everybody else in the line.
so this is to affect a wage increase for hiring new people? Because that's not normally what a COLA is, in where I come from.
Well, I use that terminology because there's only two things that we have in pay raise terminology. It's either a step raise or a COLA, or you can do both, which happens once.
What happened to merit?
We don't have merit raises. It's not in our policy. We don't have those two things.
Everybody's that good, huh?
Everybody here is good.
If they're not, then that's sticking around.
Everybody is good.
I had that same conversation with the chief of police a few years ago. Your budget, if you look at what was appropriated and what has been actually spent at this time, you still have almost 400,000. So once again, here's a budget that's not going to be, it's going to be underspent. So regardless of, we haven't shaved this too much. You've used some real numbers to do it. This is a bottom line budget. So the commissioners can do whatever they want with the bottom line numbers. They can do more 12%. They can find it in budget. So, trying to move this along. Does anybody have a figure they want to throw out? We're working on 2 right now.
Excuse me, what, you said we were going to come in $400,000 over budget?
If you go, no, I'm not. If you look at page 9, what was appropriated and what is actual right now.
So you're looking at the wrong page. You should be looking at page 4.
I'm looking at page 5 with the line is $1,006,000. And we're at about $1,003,000.
Yeah.
These are all, these things over here don't matter. It's where it stops on page 4 is where it says.
Total fire?
Total
Doesn't
fire.
matter?
Well, the 223,000 is what we have left in the budget, as of like last month.
So these figures aren't correct?
No, the actuals are from October.
Right, but I'm going by what I'm looking at right here, the figures I have in front of me. So I'm assuming that is in October, that's from October.
That is an October figure.
So you're telling me these figures are incorrect?
They're correct up to October.
That's right.
Kathy just gave me the November salary numbers except for Paul.
Right, but still underspent.
Exactly.
Yeah, you want me to overspend? I don't think so.
Point is, almost every budget is underspent.
It's supposed to be.
There's already wiggle room, always wiggle room. That's why you have a reserve fund.
Well, that's, I understand that's your opinion.
My experience,
Mine-
20 years of budgeting for municipal, town, school, and fire is very, very, I don't think I can remember running into a budget that was overspent.
We overspent the first year here. And we had to go to DRA.
And what happened?
We went to DRA.
No, why did you overspend it?
Yeah, speak.
Because
Legally,
they, in the annual district meeting, the amount of money that we were to pay Comstar was withdrawn from the budget. And so we still had a contract with Comstar, and we had.
So you had an unusual event.
No,
Right.
it's not right.
Created event.
I know, I was there, I remember that, even I kind of gasped. But my point is, barring the furnace blowing up or a building burning down, heaven forbid, budgets are usually underspent. That was an exception. Those are very rare. So, I'm still looking for a figure.
I'm still sticking with the commissioner's figure.
It's what?
I'm still sticking with the commissioner's figure.
And why is that, Jane?
Because I think that we need to still be competitive. I think if you look at where we are in terms of rankings with the other communities around us, that it's almost embarrassing to see us only one below us. I don't think in today's market that the COLA that the chief's looking for is out of line. And I would rather cut someplace else than cut on employee salaries. And
Well, would you agree that we need to budget $100,000 for call salaries when we haven't spent it in the last 3 years, not even come close? We've averaged $60K in 3 years. Why should we have an extra $40,000 in that line? Can you explain that to me?
The problem there is that the call people are actually the ones who are underpaid. If you have a call guy with XYZ qualifications
Yep.
and a career guy with XYZ qualifications, why is one worth more?
Oh, I agree. That's, we can't fix that here, but you
No,
talked
but
about
it
that
can't
in
be
the last
fixed
meeting.
if the money's not in the budget either.
Right.
Eric can't take that to the commission and say, we need to get our act together and straighten that out if the money's not in the budget.
But they gotta show up to the gig too. If there's not that level of response from the team, just looking at a 3-year average, I definitely agree that they should be paid, everybody should be paid based on the same qualifications, and maybe, like,
And the advantage.
maybe almost like a little bit extra for like a shift differential of like, hey, you're not really on all the time, and you maybe not on insurance, and you maybe not on, you know.
I think we've had serious problems with getting call people, and wages is probably part of it.
So are there any call companies left in the county? They're all done. We've had 3 over there.
My understanding of call firefighters, they're only called in if there's an event, a fire, a big need.
The opportunity in Tilton, Northfield, our policy is if we have any call whatsoever, they're allowed to go, and encouraged to come.
So if you have an automobile accident, which the fire truck goes to, then all the call guys could show up?
Anybody they can go to the station and respond. They don't respond directly with their car, they go to the Parksview station, get a piece of apparatus and respond.
But they could be they could be going on a simultaneous call, so.
Absolutely.
Yeah, or,
Because more than 50% of our calls are simultaneous calls.
yeah, and if you want some
Really?
extra
Calls
people
at
on
the
the
same
scene,
time.
the traffic detail, help out, I totally get that. You know, I don't think you'll get a lot of it during the day, because the chief mentioned a lot of
During
guys
the day,
work.
They work.
Yeah, you get Dwayne comes right to
Dwayne
move trucks around
comes
and help you
quite a
out.
bit. Other than that, during the day, there's nothing.
Has added the 4th guy though, cut down on that a little bit?
Adding the 4th guy allows us to cover that second EMS call quite a bit, and that's also contributed to the huge increase in our ambulance revenue, because we're transporting those other patients rather than giving them to Franklin or Sangerton or Belmont or Laconia for that matter.
But wouldn't that decrease the call salary a little bit if they're not expected to come back for that second ambulance call? If the on-duty guys are handling that stuff?
So, the year that we were running into financial problems, I had to restrict when call people were coming to try and preserve the budget. And what that did is it discouraged the call people from showing up for about a year and a half beyond that to try and even fix the money part of it. The morale and culture of responding to calls when they were able to kind of disappeared for about a year and a half, and it took about a year and a half to rebuild that culture where, yes, you please come in. They felt slighted because the money wasn't there for them to to respond to calls. And so, you don't need you. I'm not going to come in. So it took a while to get that culture to come back. When I showed up, when I became the chief there, we had 26 call firefighters who were spending their $100,000 a year in call salaries, 80,000, some years close to 100,000. But like every other fire department around here, the number of call firefighters dwindled. There was a time last year where I was down to a single-digit number in call firefighters. I think we dropped down to 9 at one point. And of those 9, 3 or 4 were really active, and the others were like once in a while type of thing. We're up to 14 call people right now, but a lot of those we have, like the 4 or 5 people that we've had for a long time. And the others are like brand new that we're trying to get certified. But a lot of times what happens, once they get certified, they move on, or they move for one reason or another, or they get hired as a career person in another fire department and move, to Hudson.
All right. I make a motion that we fund the total salaries and wages line of $1,650,000. I just put my number up, 25,000.
What's your number again, 1,650?
1,650. We're not even going to spend the 1.6 from this year.
And Chief, what would that look like if we voted this in as far as those line items? Would the competitiveness, would the starting pay and stuff be included in that, or I know it's probably putting you on the spot to try to do it, but.
So what the commissioners, if we keep the commissioner's salary line for the career firefighters at $1.2 million, that will bring our starting salary paid at $21.10 an hour. Still considerably, it's not the median of all the salaries that I listed, median being the middle, and it's not the average. It's below both of those still, which is not really good if we have to try and fill a slot. Or keep people, because especially with having 4 people that are in the safer positions, with those positions not guaranteed, the closer we get to the end of the grant period, it doesn't look like the fire district is going to try and keep those folks. They're going to fly.
And I think it's been brought up before, and we've seen it happen. Firefighters don't necessarily stay where they live. So if an opportunity opens up in Concord or Farmstead or wherever, they're going to go there. They're not going to care where they live if they get
We have,
a sizable call.
of my career staff, there is 1 firefighter that lives in the fire district. Everybody else lives somewhere else.
So something's already good enough to bring here, Jane. Why throw 10?
I wanna keep them.
So we got a motion on the table, did we get a second?
I'll second
You have no,
You seconded? Kevin did.
okay.
So, Jason, I just did some quick math, leaving out the call wages,
Yeah,
and the difference right now, based on 11 months, I just took whatever the numbers that Catherine just gave us,
right.
and I divided that by 11. And so what's remaining in the budget for the month of October, December,
This one.
is 125,645.
I disagree.
And what we will have is what in the budget line, and then what the expended line would be approximately be $111,517.
She gave us November numbers, right? Is that what you're added?
Yeah, so I took 109,4, 711, I added it up to 46,873 to 240,518, and I come up with 1,382,102. I'm not including the call salaries in my
Well,
figure.
you can certainly put the 40K in, because that's a hard number from October.
Yeah, but I'm trying to figure out what we spent in 11 months
Yeah.
on.
Excluding the call firefighter.
Excluding the call fire, for what we spent on wages, holiday pay, and overtime pay. Divided that by that number,
Yeah.
so 1,380, that divided by 11 is $125,000.
So add that back in, you're at like $1.5 million.
Right, so it's like $111,000 difference between,
So you would agree we're not gonna spend the 1.6?
yeah.
Because I just took your number and multiplied it by 12, and I got 1.5.
Yeah. Yeah, but you have to take, out the 110 out of the 1.6.
Yeah, but you gotta put something back in too. I'm not gonna, it's not a zero for me on my number.
No, but just to figure out, if you, I mean, you can take the 110,000 out of the budget, you can take the 40,000 out of the budget and just use November numbers.
Right.
How many holidays?
But you could also say that you budgeted 110,000 in that final line and only spent a third of it.
Christmas is left.
No, I get that, but we don't, I don't know what November brought, and I don't know what
Yeah.
December's gonna bring.
But certainly not gonna bring $70,000.
But you can't budget for what if.
No, I know that, but if we keep the other numbers and lower the call salaries, because the cost, the volume, the amount of money that we're paying, even if we figure out a way to compensate the call staff more, just based on volume, it's still gonna be a lower number. I don't know what makes up. What was your last number, 1650?
Yep. Well, and that's another 25,000, so maybe it goes 6 or 7%. I don't know.
Well, I was
But
gonna
you
lower
gotta, you've gotta buckle down on those other lines. You can give guys 10%, I don't care, but, because that's not my call. Definitely wanna give them something. We give them 5, 6, 7, but manage those other categories a little better.
The reality is the budgets, I don't care what budget it is, municipal budget, they're not as tight as they're presented. When I build a Northfield budget, it ain't anywhere near as tight as it's presented. There's, and the godsend of a bottom line budget
Yeah.
is,
Oh, yeah, no,
we do it every year.
I'm all about a lift for, a COLA,
you know.
but using some historical data, taking the biggest year or something, and looking at some averages
Yeah.
and realistic.
It uses
expectations.
historical
Realistic
data, looking at
expectations,
the inflation rate right
Well,
now.
What's
I
really
was
hard-
gonna counter with 1675, which is $25, basically taking 25 out of the.
Well, I already
Well, we
counted
have a
with,
motion
I already
on the
counted
table.
with 1625,
Yeah, so
and
let's,
then I counted with 1650,
yeah,
so.
let's, we have a motion on the table, 1650.
Now, hold on a second. Your historical data is off
Okay.
because you're looking at 3 full-time firefighters instead of 4
I didn't
on
go
those
too far
years.
back on that one. On the big career line, I just took the actual. I actually
So
rounded
you
up,
didn't use historical data.
not on that one, not on the big one. I actually rounded up over the appropriation, that it looks like we're not gonna even,
Makes
May.
reasoning.
yeah, I took that 1.19 and I rounded up to 1.2, then added another 5% into that. So,
All right, any more discussion on the
I left,
motion
I
that's
left a
on the
little, I left a
table?
little air in the tire.
So-
I didn't slash it.
I have a question. To answer your question relative to the motion, no, but something else. I thought
If you have a question that pertains to this, ask it. Wages and salaries.
I mean, you know what? I'll step outside, I don't care. We build these budgets. We have a town Tilton budget, a town Millville budget, a fire district budget, and a school district budget. This budget is up how much? More than 5%. Northville budget's up 5%. School district is infamous for just robbing us blind. And we all want what's best. The bottom line is the people paying these budgets are not getting the same treatment as the people that are benefited directly by the budget.
We're also not experiencing 7%, 9%, 10% increases in our salaries at home.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's
you know
what
what I mean?
that's what I meant.
On the contrary,
Still, you have to be competitive with your salaries that you, for the business that you're in. If your contract, say you're a framer, and the other 3 framing companies around you are paying $25 an hour to frame, and you're only paying $20 an hour to frame, guess who's not gonna have framers?
there will
It's
be
dependent.
people this winter
It depends who has the
that will
work.
have to decide between heat and food. Heat and food,
I
that's
understand that.
guaranteed. So those people can't afford to give people cost of living allowances. We'd all love to, but they can't afford it because they're not getting it. I know people that aren't getting any raise increase, because if the company wants to continue, they can't afford it.
I understand that, but
And
my
it's not a
cons-
mom and pop company.
The company framing houses that's paying top dollar to the guys may be charging top dollar for their quotes, and therefore may not be getting all the work.
So let's get back to
You know,
the motion on the
that's-
table. Right now,
Depends which way you wanna.
we have a motion and a second for $1,650,000 as the total salary and wages line. All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye. Opposed?
Right.
I heard 3 yes.
I was aye, or nay, whatever.
Choose it.
Nay.
No.
I heard 4 nays. Okay,
You a nay?
Yeah.
It is support.
yeah, I heard 4 nays.
There you go. It is.
I'll make a motion. Oh, sorry.
For 1,675,000.
I'll second that.
That's yours and yours,
Yeah.
James.
All right. Do we need any more discussion on this motion? Hearing none. All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
No.
Aye.
I heard 3 nays.
She was against it.
Yep. You were a nay and Kevin a nay? Yes? Yes?
Yes.
Yes? Yes?
It's all your fault.
Motion passes.
Catherine, you went to the dark side.
You know what? We can beat this up, but it is a bottom line budget. So what did we just vote on, 1675?
Yes.
You did vote, didn't you? How did you know if you didn't know what you were voting on?
Because I have about 4 different things here, and I was gonna suggest 1676, so thank you. 1675.
Oh, so you came in under. Good for you.
I held out, saved a
I'm
thousand.
just gonna start doing
All right.
$5,000 increments. So
So that works out.
Was that the only, yeah, we went through, we got through the rest of this, didn't we?
I don't think we
No.
got past that.
That's where we started.
Yeah.
We did stop there, I thought we came back to it.
Well, based on that, that was gonna kind of filter back into workers' comp and all that.
Yeah,
So
that-
those numbers.
Yeah,
will-
if I could
Yeah,
change.
that'll backfill.
Yes, those are back
But
there.
I thought we went through,
No, I was just up to page 5, you still have page 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, you only went through page 5.
yeah, I'm kidding.
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna switch budgets. I thought we went back to it. All right, page 6.
Total information technology, phone.
We skipped 335, school and training fees.
And this is based, if I remember right from last year for the training, that's pretty much just what the known costs are gonna be, what people wanna take for classes, right? And it's kind of
Yes.
all just jumbled up.
Yeah, so, all the firefighters and officers, I asked them before I put the budget together, what do you want to take for classes, what I want people to take for classes, what's required for EMT or paramedics and all that kind of stuff. Add it all together, I go through it and I pare it down, I says, no, we're not gonna send 8 people to that class, we're only gonna send 2. And then it comes down to a certain number, and that's where the tuition comes out to be. So it's less than what we had last year.
Yeah, so I was gonna ask about the actual for this year, is that up to date for October, right, the 15th?
Hold on. You talk about training?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's through November,
November.
17066.
Now people are able to go to classes now that they all had COVID twice and 9 shots.
And sometimes more.
Did the cell phone and internet cost, how come those?
So, most of our devices are directly connected instead of using a Wi-Fi because it's more reliable. So each engine has a rugged laptop, the ambulances have iPads, the deputy has an iPad, the duty officer has a cell phone, both ambulances have a cell phone. Then there in the engines and the ambulances, there are also Wi-Fi devices for the defibrillator, the monitor defibrillator hook up to them. And the deputy and myself receive a stipend instead of getting a company pay phone. We get $10 for it.
Cell phone prices have been dropping, it's just why I'm curious, you know.
We've been adding devices. and
Adding, oh, okay.
That's what happened.
I'll make a motion to approve the $20,975 for school training fees. Still
separate.
on that one.
So we're gonna do, okay, item by item. I thought we were gonna go down to total information
Okay,
technology,
okay,
but that's okay.
Separate.
let's do that, that'll save a
Oh.
couple hours.
No, information technology is not,
Nah,
does not
that's-
include
yeah,
school
That's only
or
340.
Total
telephone.
telephone.
Do total telephone for $11,780.
That doesn't include the training. Why is,
Oh, yeah.
It's a
Well,
separate
yeah.
line.
They're
Separate line.
separate lines,
it's not bold.
sections.
It throws you off.
Yeah.
You have to do the math. All right, so we're back to motion on the table on a second for $20,975 for school training fees. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Abstentions? Motion carries. Total telephone,
Make a motion to accept $11,780.
Second.
any discussion? All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye. Opposed?
Nay.
All right. Motion carries. All right. Information technology. And that is total information at the bottom, right?
Yes.
32,404.
What was the increase we did last year? for Information technology. I remember it was my idea, but I don't remember what
It was
Oh,
with fiber.
For fiber,
fiber.
yes.
Did that get done?
It got installed this last few weeks,
Really?
yes.
Did the half go fit too?
I didn't hear, I didn't,
Must have been the same guy plugging in the tower.
what you still not?
Still not enough, yeah.
Saw the trench work.
So, we approved the money 22,
Yes,
but there was a delay in that service coming in?
no, it was delaying me asking for it because the number that I was quoted, that I gave to the budget committee last year,
Yeah.
was a misquote. And when I said, okay, let's do it, after the district meeting says, no, we misquoted you by several $1,000s.
Really?
And so I said, well, we're not gonna do that then, we're gonna wait. And so, when it got to the point in this fiscal year that the increase was gonna cover the fiber, that's when we installed it.
So it's all done now?
It's all done,
Work good?
yes,
Good.
solid.
Good feeling, eh?
I think you told us, but and I don't remember why the increase on the Tilton Northfield Fire District website.
Because the website we have now is, I don't know how old it is, but it's, and the commissioners felt that it's imperative that we modernize and update our current website. So it's user-friendly.
But isn't that just a place to gather information? If I have a fire, I'm not gonna go to a website.
No, it is public information type of stuff.
Fire crew good?
And all the information's there.
Yeah, it's not. You're going to the same system we went to in Northfield, right?
Same vendor.
Same vendor.
Yeah.
They're good people.
It's a little bit challenging, but that just makes it interesting.
I mean, I think we, in Northfield, I believe we went from a little less than mediocre to pretty good, but that's based on my limited ability with these damn things, you know, electronic challenges, but even with what I see as the limited benefit, it was much well spent. That was one of my
Is this a one-time fee?
No, it's an annual.
This is gonna be an annual fee.
So they.
So for them to
host-
update it, change
update
it,
and host it.
is included in this,
Yes,
and then every year they're gonna charge us the same fee?
yes.
Even though they've rebuilt it once.
Right.
They get residuals?
Well,
Let's see, I just give you a super deal on.
That's the problem with technology, it just keeps, it's
Yeah,
like some
they-
kind of tiger.
Okay, so he changes the Northfield transfer station, and they update it. they're doing stuff every year, right?
They do, yeah, it's,
But it takes,
so, one of the big benefits for us was that it's
It's on
easier
my
to
desk.
add content to that website than the old
Right,
one.
right beside the pile for the fire station.
Which, if it's easier to use, it's gonna be useful. It's, I hate the word user-friendly, but damn it, that's what it is.
And there's a vote coming up, and it's like, this
You can
day,
go in very easily and change info for the public to see. And the other one was pretty limited.
The one we have now, the pictures in it can't change, and I think every vehicle that's in the picture doesn't even exist with us.
So you can't change any of that?
It's antiquated.
nobody knows that.
I
Yeah,
don't
You have to
know.
have the company do it.
Kathy,
or
doesn't that
something
go
like
back to,
Some of the state
what was
websites
that,
have nothing.
GoDaddy or GoBilly or?
GoDaddy.
GoDaddy. That-
GoDaddy.
that's-
wow.
Even I know that's antique. You know, I mean,
And it takes a lot to update it or change it,
it's,
and I just,
The only
Not
things
enough
we
hours
do in
a
it right
day.
now is on the right-hand side,
that whole bar.
the bar where we can list where meetings, post meetings, and, or post documents, like currently we had the RFQ out for the new fire station, and there was a list of documents that were available for anybody bidding on it to look at for further information.
Is there a way to pay a one-time fee to get that updated more snuff so maybe it wouldn't incur this annual cost? Like whoever built it the first time, could they go in and do the wish list one year and then?
I don't know.
It's not a fee to, like, to rebuild it.
They're gonna rebuild it
You
from
have to rebuild
scratch.
it, but then just like maintain it.
Maintain it, update it, and host it in their server somewhere, wherever that is.
I mean, we spent a lot of money.
I know Northfield's website went from like,
And we spent a ton of money
it's
and,
easier to get
and
around.
I think it was worth it. I support it. It was unfriendly and now I can use it.
All right.
Anything electronic and stuff.
Moving on, in total information technology, did we do total telephone? I don't think we did.
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did,
Did we?
yeah.
Is there, at the last meeting, I thought there was a difference in IT between the commissioners and the chief. Doesn't appear that way.
no.
I thought they took something out to do with some service or something. No?
I make a motion to accept total information technology in the amount of $32,404.
One second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Abstentions? Medical services.
Are there still some physicals that are outstanding this year?
I don't think so. I think, but I don't know for a fact.
I know there's at least two
Two?
that I'm dealing with right now.
All right, Q.
Where does the number 33 come from?
That's the number of career firefighters and call firefighters added together.
So if you only have two more, then why do we have so much in there?
So if you spent 9,000, you got 13, almost 14 in the budget, and there's two left at what is that, 420? So that could be,
You might even hit 10 grand.
it could be 10 grand,
Yeah.
right? And the number of new employees at 600, and the number 5 is an educated guess?
Yes.
I don't want to say that because I don't know if that's 100% true or not.
No.
But again, if you set it at 10 and you end up having 4 more this year, you've got enough overage to cover.
If that's the case, I'm trying to figure out why we haven't spent what we
Yeah.
spent, because we require everybody to get that physical. That's the cost of the physical, and why, so I'm, now in my
Seems
head,
like-
I'm thinking, who hasn't gone for physical?
Seems like simple math, right? And you got
Or if we
33.
went, yeah, we got billed yet.
So what is the difference in the cost between 420 and 600?
So a new physical has additional blood work
For baseline.
and a chest x-ray, things like that.
It's a different physical,
Yes,
or more extensive.
yes.
So Kathy, this is October,
Yes,
so you have a November figure for,
I don't.
I'm thinking it will cover them. Usually all get them at the same time.
Yeah, it's
The
usually
bills
the
come in
beginning of
February.
the,
It is.
in the begin, the
So
first
it's
half
like
of the
there's
year,
two
we're
that
all
haven't?
done. Unless,
Well,
except for
it's
new
only-
employees or
It's
transfer.
only
Yeah.
1.38 people, so.
Well, you have to realize that the
Well,
420
it depends if
is
you can't do the
not
math.
always
No,
the
it's-
same
it's-
amount for
it's-
Oh, yeah.
everybody.
Because I'm old, I get a different physical than you.
Right, depending on your age, your physical is different, and 420 is the
Yeah,
average.
they just said that,
So
you
it
know.
could be.
That's part of it.
They charge all the money for my physical.
One glove. Cough if you want.
Yeah, but that's a lot of the difference is, the age differences between the employees. The younger you are, you don't have to have the same type of physical as someone older
Oh, boy.
every year. But we have to budget for the more
Yeah,
I
expensive.
can see people not going during COVID, but
You guys use Concord Ortho, right?
Yes.
Have you looked into Merrimack Valley Consultant?
We have.
Is it more expensive?
It's about the same, but you have to go, when you go to Concord Ortho, everything is in that one office. You don't have to go from here to there to get your CAT scan or your pulmonary function test isn't over there. You go there, you're there for 2 hours, and you walk out and everything's done.
One rotation.
Whereas, and so I only have to pay that much overtime for those guys to do
Oh.
that. When we did Merrimack one year, it was like, it cost me more in overtime than the savings that it did going to
Right,
Concord.
because you go and you have part of your physical at Merrimack Off Health, and then they send you to urgent care for your x-rays and the rest of it.
That's crazy.
then you're waiting.
On a different day
Right.
sometimes, not even the same
That's
day.
not good.
Yeah, it's-
All right, what's your pleasure on medical services?
I mean, I want to ensure that everybody gets their physical, so I mean, I certainly don't want to cut it if that would make it so somebody doesn't get physical. That's my thought, but if we can
Oh,
cut it a little.
I would agree, but, I mean, there's money in other places, and I would short change them. Physicals.
Looks like we're
I
gonna
know I
get-
like to have my physical, I would say, we should, right? I mean,
Well, I think just for firefighting in general,
Yeah.
it's a, it can catch a lot of stuff early, so I think it's a highly important one. But can we do it for $3,000 less?
Can we do it for 12 grand, or 4, 12, 13?
Maybe we shave 3,000 off, make it 13,860. That would give some buffer.
Is that a motion?
Yes.
Second.
Hold on, any more discussion on the
I missed the number, was it 13,860?
13,860?
Okay.
Right, hearing none, all those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Ayes have it. Other professional services. That's a just in case line.
What would be an example of something that would be?
So an example of that was like when they did the, hired, I forget who to do a payroll study.
Remember Kevin?
Yeah.
That was when you were commissioner.
That would be out of that line.
Move to approve.
Are all of these under total
Just wondering
dues
if
and
we could
subscriptions?
want them higher.
Aim for 50 cents.
Yeah.
No.
Well, some of them must be.
Not until you get down to dues and subscriptions. You have to deal with other professional services, background checks, and printing prior to that.
Stay their own categories.
All right, so it starts at 560, okay.
Yes.
Is the printing cost, why is there such a big difference there?
Ballots, things like that.
Letterhead,
Letterhead, though we're not doing,
business cards.
business cards is a lot.
The letterhead, we stopped printing it. We just printed off the
It's in the document.
printer.
Yeah.
It's all in there.
It's a Word doc.
Balance.
You're not
be
gonna
your
get
election.
fancy meetings.
Right.
Now
But business cards, envelopes.
you just get a PDF.
I'll make a motion to accept other professional services for $1, background checks for $520, and printing for $500.
I'll second that.
Any discussion on the motion on the table? All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Dues and subscriptions. Okay, I'm just curious, what is Grammarly?
Grammarly.
That's the thing that helps him write stuff.
Yeah, software's all
It didn't help
over.
him write Gilmanton on the.
It's what?
It's like a helper software to help you compose better.
It does your grammar for you, it checks grammar.
Well, that's
makes sure
more-
you
Tightens
grammar.
up your sentences a little better.
Yeah.
Changes how you,
Yeah,
Cuts words out that you don't need.
yeah, if you're talking run-on sentences, then this makes your things more concise. And
We have something like that at work. I don't know if it's called Grammarly, but
starting to see ads for it now on TV. They're really pushing it.
Because
I've
they
been
don't
using
teach
it
it in
since I
school
went to
anymore.
EFO for our applied research projects, 60-page papers that you could write.
No, I can see it for that. That's a lot of proofing.
Where are you seeing it? I'm missing it.
This following
the
page.
very
Page
last
7,
one under,
total dues is the last one under that category.
make a motion to accept total dues and subscriptions for $4,430.
Second.
So what did the commissioners not want to do?
They didn't want Amazon Prime.
Brian?
That's what I was talking about. I was wrong.
Yeah, I know we already discussed this, we've been through here.
Yeah, we,
Yeah,
But that's okay. All those, any more discussion, I'm sorry. All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
No.
You want
Motion
Amazon?
carries.
This surprised, is it really for, is it like a business Amazon Prime? Just haven't seen it.
Yes.
Yes.
That's how much it costs.
Was the number 4430 or 4830? Okay.
4430.
I'm glad.
4,430.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Office supplies. Data destruction.
Yes,
Can't do a test burn on it?
That's a big deal.
it's illegal.
I know it is. I used to go to Cindy's bonfires.
That's cheap.
Learn what?
Very cheap.
Data.
Yeah.
They're very cheap.
Patient? Oh.
We have to do our personnel files, all of them.
Medical
Well, Brad
files.
reports we can't do.
You don't get a professional service.
Medical,
for
personal
155.
files.
Yeah,
Run
sure.
reports.
Really?
Ten.
Yep, they come with the truck, give
Can't
them
you go to
boxes that
Franklin
need to be
Savings that
destroyed.
they have every year?
$150.
That's for so cheap.
How can you do that?
Have
They
at
can't,
it.
they can't stop the truck.
Have at it.
$150.
Not a good business model.
Because they're probably doing most of the work by sorting through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't have to sort anything. We
They just
we
pick up
give
the
them,
box.
here's the pile that
Yeah,
needs to
they shred
go.
it.
Is that once a year though?
Firefighter.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
yeah, they just, once a year.
I know companies that spend thousands.
Yeah,
on
the
batteries.
state campus, office campus is like a paper route. That guy's always, that truck's always moving. You got like a paper route.
The one bargain in the budget.
Yeah. Really good deal. We'll sit around this table next year. Oh, they misquoted. It was $11.50.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, we're ready for total office supplies. Any more discussion?
Take postage with it.
Say what?
Double motion.
Take postage in office supplies.
Yep. That your motion?
It is. Under the commissioner.
I'll second.
Under the
Yeah.
commissioner's side, I think it's the same.
Yep.
Did you second?
I did.
All right, any more discussion on postage and office supplies?
What's the number?
3650.
150 and 500 for postage.
So we're,
It's the same whether it's the commissioner side or the chief side. You all set?
we're trying to see if,
Yeah, page 7.
620 and 625.
I'm just looking at this discrepancy with actual.
They just did postage for the event in December, so that's not on there. So.
Right. The postage is not up to date.
Ready for the motion? For the vote?
Motion of it in there.
All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? All right, on to equipment maintenance and repairs. So why does the chief feel we should spend money on gas meters, calibration, and the commissioners do not?
Because when I had the discussion with the commissioners, I have them withdraw that amount because we have enough calibration gas on hand that we don't need to buy it next year.
Okay.
But you spend 12,000. $7,200 budget.
With that,
Five up from the bottom, there was an AED battery that had to be replaced for $9,000.
Is that like one of the cardiac monitors?
yeah. Well, I don't know why it says AED, but I have.
But isn't the auto pulse,
Yes.
Yeah.
and the auto pulse, and they have an end of life, and they just died.
Yes.
And so we had.
So it got replaced, not the battery, the whole thing.
No, just the batteries.
Really?
Yes.
Battery?
Yeah, so they're not like, most of our tools, we use the Milwaukee, even our extrication tools and our fans are Milwaukee batteries that we go buy at Lowe's or Home Depot. These are not that type of batteries.
Right.
They're made by DeWalt or somebody else, but they're not ones that you can buy in the store. They're proprietary, the way they click in and stuff.
Not even on Amazon Prime.
I would more expect to see a $150 battery and 9,000 in data destruction.
It's more than one battery.
Yeah.
Do you have a service contract or a maintenance contract on those?
Yes.
It
Yes.
just doesn't cover the
Doesn't
like
have
batteries.
batteries.
Unanticipated equipment repairs, do you have something that is
Well,
Oh.
what I usually, I just didn't take everything in here and say, is something going to break, is something going to break. What I did is basically try to take an average over these are the ones that I actually know are going to happen. The unanticipated is all the rest of the stuff that might happen. And then I used the number I requested as an average use over all that other stuff over the past 3 years.
Well, it didn't happen last year either.
Well, you can,
For this year.
so when it does happen, it gets accredited to the line that it goes to. It doesn't get accredited to the unanticipated expenses. So,
Like these batteries.
I forget that tweaks me, because that's not the way it is in school in town. So I apologize. That'll come up over and over again with me.
Okay.
It's unaccustomed.
When we do vehicle repairs, it's kind of the same thing.
I remember. Thank you. All right, anybody? Questions?
Has the radio repair budget been adequate over time?
Yes, especially where we got all those radios on a grant, and they had a warranty to them that has just ended. So the radios are still in pretty good shape. I wouldn't anticipate a large expense on those.
What I was trying to-
We have a motion on the table?
When they're not.
No?
I'll make a motion to accept total equipment maintenance and repair of $5,700.
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? All right. Vice Chair? I believe that's you.
Let's get out of here.
Just say thank you.
All I have to go do town budgeting.
All right, what's left?
Not much.
Service testing.
All right, so top of, we're in page 8.
Yeah, we're on page 8.
That's where I'm
I'm gonna do the vehicle repairs. You're page 9, right?
Yes.
We're at the top of page 8.
Right, but then you got page 9.
Yep.
And
And then after that is abreast equipment fund, which is like
Then you skip
4
to
or
page
5
11.
numbers.
And the commissioners are entertaining a warrant article to use those funds to send it out for others, like repairs and stuff.
We'll have to have another meeting for warrant articles.
Yeah, we don't have warrant articles.
Right, that was just,
Yeah,
Yes.
that will be one of the warrant
they are
articles.
entertaining. All right,
So,
sorry I have to go.
Okay.
In school budgeting Wednesday. I mean, not me.
No, is it a town project?
Tonight at 7 o'clock.
That's
It's
not
still
good,
project, not school.
No, I have
Me
school
neither.
Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday next week.
Well, no, but this week, I thought, no,
No, I'm sorry.
I'll shut up.
Talk to myself. You do that when you know like I am.
Are we adjourned?
Because I'm leaving.
Yeah, it's just service testing.
We don't have that much more.
You don't have much more to go. We will have to meet again. And if I don't like what you did, I'll bring it up, we'll do it again. No.
Thank you, Rusty.
You can now, remember. You can always bring up, I hate to say it, something if you want to reconsider.
All right.
Carry on, you guys.
Okay,
Bye.
thanks.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye now.
Thank you, Catherine.
You're welcome.
I mean, the service testing is all just already negotiated prices, right?
Yes.
So, seems pretty even.
All right, let it rip.
Make a motion to total service testing for $20,302.
Is there a second?
Second that.
All right, motion second. Is there any discussion? Going.
So the actual 4475 probably through October. There's a service agreement for 22 as well?
What hasn't been done, I guess?
The
The
ladders.
ladders, they're coming December 7th.
December 7th, they just sent out the dates,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's the cots.
The costs, they haven't been there.
The
And they just
costs,
did
the
the
auto
flow
pulses,
testing, and we got the bill for that.
They're all coming, they're
No.
always at the
Yeah.
end of the year.
Not flow testing, you know what I meant?
Yeah.
Good.
You good, Charlie? All right, any further discussion? All right, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Uh,
Aye. Any opposed? Being none, motion passes. Fuel. Boy, that's scary.
Isn't it?
Scary that it might not be enough.
I know.
Where you buy your fuel?
Irving, We have the Wex cards.
Wex cards,
But
yeah.
Irving is probably the one that gets the most of it.
Wax, you don't pay a tax, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
Oh, you can go to any gas station with
Yes.
yeah,
Interesting.
yeah, we've got one too.
Make a motion to accept.
Can you, I'm sorry, I stepped on you there, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Make a motion to accept gasoline at $9,080.
Second.
Go to diesel too, or wait?
And diesel fuel
Separate, let's do
at,
them separate.
Okay.
yeah,
So, the two command vehicles,
Yes.
both, we don't have two pickups anymore, do we?
One.
The pickup, the forestry truck, are all gasoline powered,
Yes,
everything else is diesel,
yes.
more or less. I mean, you got the gator thing.
Yeah, the
UTV?
UTV.
UTV, we have a 14-gallon dolly that we bring up. We're gonna start bringing Plymouth now to get the ethanol free.
Oh, good for you.
Where do the Plymouth, they have ethanol free?
It's, is it Kate's or something like that?
Goes where it is, I can't.
Yeah, one of our members lives in Plymouth, they can get ethanol free gas.
That's good.
Because we had so many problems with UTV. We ended up
Our
getting-
Concord trucks go to Newport, and then there's somebody that goes to Alton.
We've been going to the airport, because of the 108 octane, but it's not really good to do that.
No, if you're not jetted for it, it's-
So-
you burn stuff up.
Can you buy fuel from the state?
You mean at one of the state facilities, like in,
Like
like
any of
Hampton?
the
Like on
DOT sheds?
140?
You get any of the DOT sheds for the fob?
We just flipped. I think our diesel fuel is under $3 a gallon.
I'm not aware if they can or cannot.
We just changed.
Do they have, do they take Wex cards?
No.
No.
No, you have a
We-
key
See,
fob.
we had those, that's what we were doing. And we would go to, for our gasoline, we just go to Packard because it's so handy, we didn't pay the full price anyway. And diesel fuel, guess what? We went to Irving, one of you guys. Something came about in the recent past, that we're now buying at least our diesel fuel from the state at 140, and no, like, it's such a drastic difference. Well, I don't want one of those, I don't have any diesel fuel, but I want one. You know, it's a truckload of money different.
It is because it's based off the rack price, because all my state trucks are, yeah. Because I have state trucks, we
Here we go over
yeah,
to
those,
the 140 state shed,
is that something you're gonna look into?
and we, it's a hell of a savings, a lot less money spent. So,
See, yeah, I wonder if Franklin does it, I don't know if Franklin shed
we
has
can go to
fuel.
Franklin too.
Do they have pumps at Franklin shed? Yeah, I couldn't remember. 'Cause not all the districts, not all the DOT sheds have
Right.
fuel. They don't all have gasoline, but most of them have diesel.
So, just,
I don't know what the answer right now.
No, that's fine.
All right, there's a motion and a second for gasoline at $9,080. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Diesel.
What does Laconia get there? Diesel.
Sicko, Stratford.
Exclusively.
But honestly, they should get the Wix card because it's the same issues. It's tough to go to the one vendor. It's nice to have the options with the Wix to, because they can get fuel, I assume, if they're in Concord.
You're doing
Yeah,
a transport or
Yeah,
something,
so
Yeah.
that's a lot better, I think, than one vendor. I know.
I used to get nervous when you go on like a strike team, you're like, if I run out of fuel and I have to use my own credit card. Never happened, but I'd always,
I did that once, I had to use my own credit card.
I mean, does the state I don't know much about the state, like, is it a locked-in price, or it can't be, right? So it's still fluctuating?
Yeah, you get invoiced, but you get invoiced off of an index and the rack price plus whatever.
It can hurt you. Didn't it hurt us when we used to own our own tank?
Yep.
We were paying the rack price, but you pay the rack price for that whole, so it actually hurt us too long.
It did because the usage was so low, even though it was the school district, the town of Northfield, and the fire district all involved with that pump system. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's not a lot of fuel.
Yeah.
I mean, it's more than you want to see spilled out right after 20, but it's not a lot of fuel. Where the state, the entire state, the DOT.
They get some buying power.
Hmm.
They do that, they do like reverse auctions for
Yeah,
road salt, all kinds of stuff. The purchasing department's pretty powerful.
We had, that deal we used to have was rack price plus delivery. And the delivery is what,
Would mess us up, yeah.
so, I think it's definitely worth looking at.
We'll sell to you for a dollar again, but we're gonna try to be fun.
So,
All right, looking for a motion and a number.
Make a motion to accept diesel at 39,303.
There's a second. All right, there's a second. Discussion. All right, the being none, all those in favor of line 35, 535 for diesel, and the commissioners are not, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes.
Maybe, Mike, you can look into
I will.
this state deal or whatever it is.
Yes, it's in, somewhere in DOT, in the state website, start there, because there's a fuel distribution section in DOT.
Justin Bernie, our public works director, is the one that hooked it up. We got hooked up with it through
I'll give
connection.
Justin a call
So
too.
maybe he could.
Well, his right hand, Adam Dow, came from DOT.
Yeah.
He was a construction foreman, so Adam might know some movers and shakers still.
The only guy I know at DOT's, Hanscom, something like that.
That does the driveways and curb
Yeah,
cuts and
yeah.
stuff, yeah.
Because that's, I had to deal with him, going and buying the land with
Oh,
a lot
yeah,
of streets.
yeah. The many faces of DOT. Then you have the guys from Signals come fix the opticons.
No, they don't. All right.
All right, vehicle repair, one of our favorites. A classic.
Is that actual correct?
Yes.
Oh,
Through October. Any big repairs coming up November and December, or?
Hopefully, the only thing I know, A2 is getting winter tires. Beyond that, I don't know if there's anything that's gonna happen.
So, I mean, it looks like things are coming in okay. It's that other line that really hasn't been hit that hard.
Right, I dropped, last year, the other line was 25,000, I dropped it to 20,000 this year.
So, we don't have an engine one, but we have money spent on an engine one.
Well, engine one's coming, going out for the final inspection within the next month, leaving December 19th. So we'll have that.
Christmas with it?
No, better not be.
It's really red.
So we'll have the engine in the new year, so it'll need inspection, and it'll need,
Shakedown crews,
yeah,
the
a
first-
PM or two on it
Get rid of the-
by the end of the year.
breaking oil.
C3.
That's my card.
That's the deputy section.
Somehow I expected that to be C2.
Deputy Robinson has that all signed.
We got one new, how many big new trucks did we get? We got one.
And we're getting the clone to it coming
Yeah,
soon.
last year, we got engine 2, this coming year, we're getting engine 1. We also got an ambulance this year, A2, and we got car 3 this year. They were budgeted in different years, but this is when they all kind of showed up.
You don't have $80,000 in repair for an engine that doesn't run.
No.
So that's a good thing.
Yeah, the big costs on engine repairs, and maintenance repairs have all gone with the new vehicles.
Now, is the older ambulance still okay? Just driving
Yeah,
less?
it's got,
It's just a secondary piece
It
now.
ain't that old.
well,
That's
it's
what
not-
I'm saying.
Yeah, it's 2017, it's got,
The new ones
it's
get,
approaching 90,000 miles on it.
but the new ones get more because you're driving it more and more
Yeah,
PMs and more.
so currently we're using A2, which is the newest one, 3 out of 4 weeks, and then the 4th week we use A1, just to, so it doesn't sit.
You don't just alternate calls, doesn't work that way? Okay.
Because we got
Equipment,
alternating
yeah.
stations.
Okay.
Because whatever animals we're not using as the first 2 pieces at the other fire station.
All right. But on a simultaneous, on a second call or simultaneous, you can go get it anyway, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Or Dwayne gets.
Yeah,
Dwayne comes in.
You might have told us about the increase for A1 this year. What was the
The
increase?
DEF, something with the DEF injector had to be replaced or something like that. That was a bummer.
Costly.
Death is a nightmare.
See, them damn diesels.
Like I said, so next year, this time, I'm going to request for another new ambulance. It's not going to come for more, about 2 years. They said 24 months. I'm going to request it next year, but it's not coming for 2 more years. That's the wait time on ambulances now, and it's the chassis, and it will be a gasoline. It'll be a gasoline ambulance with a 7.3 gasoline engine.
Is that what we should have bought this time, was the gasoline engine?
Absolutely.
Well,
And it could have been. You know what, we tried, it didn't go that way,
Yeah.
come down.
Yeah.
It's a good engine, the research and development of that thing is crazy. The old big block, push rod V8, torque. It's a good one. But I just lost that battle when we just bought a new pickup on highway department.
Yeah.
I just lost that battle again. Nope, we're gonna buy that one. Okay. It's about a 6.2. And I have 350. Because Kevin wanted the 7.3 and the other 2 selectmen do nothing Kevin wants. That's the thing.
no, that's 7.3 is a good engine, but I didn't know it when we were ordering this ambulance because it was less than a year old. And our history, I know, but our history with buying something the very first year it's produced has been piss poor. So I went with what I knew.
There's something to be said for that.
Ready to move? I'll move for these $41,795 for vehicle repairs.
Second,
All right, motion and second, any further discussion? Four-wheel drive, gonna have that on ambulances, is that?
Both ambulances have it now.
No, but is that like a really need, is that like a thing?
Yeah, it's amazing, the difference. Those tires, those stupid rough tire chains, I've been stuck so many times in those old
I
ambulances.
was wondering,
These new ones are so, it's amazing.
yeah.
We did rear-wheel drive only ambulances forever, didn't we? You know what I'm sorry.
Main. Yeah.
I just figured the way there's gotta be something, the way they sling.
It would occur to me when you have more than one in the fleet.
It's the back, you know where it is? It's the back roads in the one. You go these driveways that go up, because no one plows, they always call in the middle of storms, no
Yeah.
plowing. Those tire chains and the rear-wheel drive
Well,
are
it's an
terrible.
F-series, you can put a plow on.
All right, there's a motion and a second. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes.
Maybe
Okay,
now on page 9.
Done in the right place.
You just jumped ahead.
all right, page 9. books and periodicals and awards.
I mean, I'll make a motion to get books and periodicals and department awards, fund them at the commissioners.
All right, it's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Charlie seconds.
So
Discussion.
this 3,000 for departmental awards has been in the budget for 3 years and not spent.
Is that the banquet?
COVID.
I know that, but what I'm saying, that's a good example of there being extra money in the budget.
Yes,
Well,
That's all I'm saying.
it's spent this year though.
Our banquet's
Oh,
next
I'm-
week.
And I'm gonna enjoy that expense. so
Hope you do.
Can't wait.
2 weeks.
It's still a cash
I
bar.
bet I'm the only person
I was
that's
just gonna say
ever
that.
asked to
He's
leave
gonna
about
bring his
that.
own stuff.
Maybe I'll tell you.
Exactly, we know the story.
You got a tailgate at that, Kevin, so you don't have to pay the cash bar?
Ride home.
Kathy wants to know if you're coming.
What day is it?
Wednesday,
The 14th.
the
I
14th.
don't know yet. I'm gonna let you know.
I got the first one.
You let me know.
I didn't know
Yes.
if you were thinking that. So I have to guess if I'm coming.
All right, it's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, there being none, all those in favor of the motion for line 670 and line 680, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Uniforms.
Yeah.
Make a motion to accept uniforms at 15,300.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Is there now discussion?
What does a career uniform consist of?
3 pairs of pants, 3 t-shirts, 2 work sweatshirts, a jacket, boots, belts.
So is this a complete turnout for everyone?
No, it's not turnout.
It's not turned
No,
on.
it's not turnout game, it is a,
It's like
the uniform turnout.
Golf
It's a-
shirt.
Are you turning out the uniforms on that? I mean, at the end of their life, you got 18 people that all need the uniform?
No, they get like, they get like a stipend. They
it's
can pick what
stipend
they
every
want.
year.
Okay.
So if it was everything all the time, it would be a much larger
Well,
number.
you can see a new employee to outfit them is $1,250.
Okay.
And
And that doesn't really
That
do
doesn't
anything.
That really
Yeah.
doesn't.
Because we have to do 100% cotton or Nomex. We do cotton because it's a lot cheaper. And
Is what you have right now the career uniform?
yes, I'm missing my polo.
Okay.
So I guess I'm out of uniform.
Supply chain.
It actually is.
It really is.
That's what I said
You
earlier.
can't get the
I can't get the polos.
right now.
Really?
Yeah.
COVID?
T-shirts are back ordered too,
Yeah.
6 months.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, you can't get printing, yeah, sometimes, some.
Trains.
Yeah.
The pants are ridiculous. The cotton pants, we can get poly pants, we can't get
Keep
poly.
track if they melt.
Yeah.
Right. Fire. All right, there's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, there being none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Miscellaneous.
That's a no-no.
I know, it's an accounting nightmare, right, Charlie?
No?
Miscellaneous is-
Right, that's true,
It's bad.
right,
Your wife always told me, don't do miscellaneous.
yeah, yeah. But this is just holding its little spot.
Right.
Yeah, but you can put anything you want and
Don't spend more than $1. That's it.
Is there a motion for,
I'll make a motion for line 690,
Second.
$1.
oh, you big spender, is there a second?
Second,
All right. Motion and second, any discussion? Probably not. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed?
no, just for the fun of it.
There you go. There, mix it up a little, one opposed. Okay, we're gonna do a roll call. Do paper ballots.
Secret ballot.
Yeah. All right, motion carries. Dry hydrants and cisterns.
Not hydrants, just repairs.
Dry hydrant, so
Dry hydrants.
there's.
Dry
no-
ones. Kind of like the ones you open, that
What's,
no water comes out, that's a dry hydrant.
what's the plan for
That's just the
These are
maintenance.
repairs
just
and
the
maintenance,
maintenance.
this pays for the driver to dive all the
That's your
dry
point.
hydrants every year, determine whether they need to be patched or repaired,
Cleaning and screening.
parts for repairing.
Okay, so talk to me about new
New,
dry hydrants and new systems.
so that would be a separate warrant article?
Warrant article.
Yes.
Are we,
So right now we have three, well, one's completed, no, not quite completed, there's a connector on it, but Silver Lane is in. Sanborn Road is gonna go in the spring because we're waiting on supplies for that.
these dry hydrants,
Those are dry hydrants. A cistern on Vista Heights, hopefully over the winter.
their place?
No, my street, my old street. And I forget what the other ones are right now. But those are the definite ones where we're getting easements and everything.
So we are actively pursuing.
Oh, yeah,
that.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the money, best money we spend for water.
Exactly.
Any further discussion on dry hydrant cistern maintenance? All those in favor of the motion of 9775,
Don't have a
signify by
We
saying
don't have a
aye.
motion.
I'll make so moved.
There wasn't a motion.
I thought there was.
I
No.
just-
Oh,
I
I
just
thought
made
you
it.
made a
And
motion.
I'll
Say it
second
a
it.
minute, will you?
Oh, we were all on the dollar, sorry.
Yeah, got it,
All right,
okay,
so we
now
have
we
a
have a
motion.
motion. Now
Is
you
there a
can vote.
second?
Yeah, I second.
Any seconded. All right, any discussion on this one? Because we were discussing it. All right, all those in favor of the motion on 9775, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. That's it, right?
No,
Nope.
keep going. There's pressurized hydrants, TAN interest, and capital outlay.
Where are we going?
Well,
Down that page,
Yeah,
with the ones and the ones and the ones.
yes, the ones.
Okay.
Total capital outlay.
We need TAN interest, you need to do that just to hold the place in case we have to borrow for lack of
Oh.
funds.
We don't have to.
Well, it would be nice if you did.
So what do we need all of the, okay, I'll make a motion to approve line item 4723, line item 4901, 4902, 4903, and 4909 for $1.
Each one.
Each for $1.
Each for $1.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
What's the other?
That's something else.
It is something else.
Then why do we have to have other?
we spent $2,200 in it in 2020, but I don't even know what it was.
That was the next question.
Another word for miscellaneous.
Yeah.
No, it has to do with capital outlay.
I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4.
So,
I'm seeing 5 $1 bills, but there was
Yeah,
only.
so there's a, if you look at the one for TAN is by itself and the other four are grouped.
Gotcha. Yeah, okay. Thank you. So this is a $4. That'll beat this up for a half hour or so, shall
Oh, I hope not.
Did you get a second?
we? Let's pretend it's gasoline for a
Yes.
moment.
I thought we did.
There was a second. Eric seconded it.
Yeah.
Jane made the motion, Eric seconded.
All right, any other discussion?
We still got like 56 more minutes to go.
Yeah, well, no, we don't. All those in favor of funding line 4723 for $1 and 4900 for the 4, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Now are we done?
Oh, the other that we spent was the clothes closets.
The what?
Oh,
The
okay.
clothes closets for the building. Because, you know, it's an old building, there's no closets.
Where is that?
We're done.
No, page 12.
Yes, we're done.
Page 12.
Go to page 12. Please and thank
Oh, the apparatus fund?
you. Yes.
Yes, 4 votes and you can get out of here.
I'm sorry, I'm lost.
Page 12.
Page 12.
Page 12.
Yeah,
Yes.
so this is apparatus.
Apparatus and equipment budget.
But these are warrant articles.
No,
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 Not these.
So all the money that comes out of that doesn't have to be by warrant article?
it's
It
a
has-
general warrant article, like the operating budget is a warrant article, the apparatus equipment budget is a single warrant article. So once we vote this, there'll be a number at the bottom, and that's the number that will be put in the warrant for the apparatus and equipment fund.
So that potentially will say, yeah, I get it. Yeah, it's coming back to me.
so, so we can do the billing services,
Yes,
Comstar, the Comstar and the paramedic intercept, total ambulance billing services for 31.5 that we did this year. It's up to
So-
37.
Was that a motion?
No, I'm just saying that's where we're going.
No.
Everybody would like to make
It's a-
it.
yes, it's a 6% of what's collected.
Right.
And we're gonna overexpend this year on what we appropriated.
Because we made more money.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Good thing.
that's
it
good.
is a good thing.
Yeah.
That's probably the one that you want to go up every year.
Who are we still paying for paramedic intercepts?
Concord,
You just keep one on the books, right? 'Cause
Really?
yes.
yeah. So we just use Concord.
The first time
First
this year.
time in all year. So we'll get a bill from them
Last week.
for, I think it's $550.
Make a motion to accept.
But there's been none spent, just, yeah.
No,
Done.
yet. The bill hasn't come in yet.
Good, Jane.
Category 4220 for 307501.
So, total ambulance billing services.
Yeah, total ambulance. bill.
For how much?
37501.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All right, seconds all in the room. Discussion.
So how did we get from 31.5? Oh, never mind, Comstock, Kevin, wake up. You already answered that question. Disregard it.
Yeah, this is when, you can never really, it's like a moving target, the more you make, the more you spend. and- All those in favor of total ambulance billing services in the amount of 37,501, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Now we're into the equipment.
The emergency pagers line, is that, for this year, is that just not, do we not spend any? Or?
So they're ordered and not in there. Might be a supply.
I can't get an invoice out of OME from 2 months ago, I can't.
So they've been ordered with 22 money.
Yes.
Yes,
Are they gonna be paid with, are you gonna encumber that?
yes, we'll cover it.
But it still needs to be in 23?
So we have like.
You're buying 4 a year.
Yeah, we buy 4 a year, we have around 40 pagers,
Got it.
it's just like,
And we've spent 47.5 in round numbers to date.
No, we appropriated 47,500 around.
and we spend,
We've spent 33,
Yeah.
yes,
but we need 58.
yes.
Why the discrepancy for protective clothing?
Cost of the quote.
From what was appropriated and what the actual is.
Yes.
So the cost of the turnout gear went up before we ordered everything that we needed to order.
Gotcha.
We
So-
actually ordered like 1 or 2 sets less than we wanted to, too, because it went up that much.
Wow.
So the 33 number would be like, just the number that you feel is accurate with the increases in prices?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
as long as.
Make up for what
It
you
make up for what we
get.
didn't get this year, because we can't be over 10 years old. We're not
Yeah,
allowed
time's
to.
up. Well, if we're gonna buy it, this is the place to spend it.
300,000. Oh, never mind. Got it. It's over here.
Yeah, that was on
I remember that.
Yeah, I make a motion to fund 58,948 for
Total fire equipment.
total fire equipment.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, moved and seconded, discussion.
So, the difference between the 47 and the 58, the 11,000 in 1 year jump, is all attributable to raw cost increase?
Turnout gear, mostly, yeah.
Didn't do repeaters last year, base station, added some this year.
Yeah, so that's, it's not really, it's a console, remote console for Park Street Fire Station because we're moving the base station to where the cell tower is, and you need a remote console to operate.
Do you want one?
Any other discussion? All those in favor of total fire equipment in the amount of 58,948, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Page 13. EMS and total EMS.
What's the iSim trainer? Is that a new line?
Yes, it's an intelligent dummy that you buy software for, and it does, you can tell it to do different things. You buy different modules for it, and it's for paramedic stuff.
One of the big things Gilman wants it for is the RS. We have to do a lot of training because of the RSI, because it's such an advanced skill. And I know that the iSim is part of that. And the simulator we were doing before, it was more of a, you just did RSI, where this one, he can not trick you, but make you, actually think, well, is this cardiac, is this, it goes down different pathways, and it's much more advanced than what we were doing.
So it's like a computer, not a mannequin?
It's a mannequin, but it's
Is
run,
it?
but
Run
it's
by a computer.
run by a computer.
Yeah.
Is it a yearly cost for this, you think, or is this just a one-time startup fee?
I believe this is,
It's a one-time startup fee.
there'll be costs, but.
And
But not
there
as
might be, if they need to update the software or get a different module, there might be a cost to it, but this is.
Virus protection.
Where are we
getting
getting
that
the
training
training now?
We don't, well, we do our own in-house training, but this is to enhance what we're doing now, because TNFD is the only service in the Lakes region that does RSI.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Belmont has a couple too.
No, they're not allowed anymore.
Nine.
Really?
Josh, the medical director,
We cut 'em off.
can, Franklin and Bell, because they didn't,
Franklin too?
Franklin lost their RSI medics, and he's not certifying anymore, so we have the only 3 RSI medics left in them. So, yeah.
In how big an area?
The Lakes.
Lakes
The Lakes
region, the whole,
In the entirety of the mutual aid system?
because you have to be approved by the medical director.
Yeah.
And the reason he chose us is because we have the proximity. It's a hindrance to us because we don't have a hospital close, so we have 3 different hospitals.
Yeah.
And so because our catchment area is so big, that's why. And then the 3 medics, we have 6 medics, but only 3 of them are allowed to do the RSI procedure and to get you to Concord Hospital. So it's, the long story short, it basically puts you in a medically induced coma, and it makes things way better in a trauma.
Yeah.
So between Highland Mount Bike Park, we have so much going on between Highland, and we can get them to Concord a lot quicker. And so the medical director allows us to keep it and wants us to keep it.
Who's that?
Josh Morrison.
Josh Morrison.
We're gonna pat ourselves on the back right there. We got
Oh, that's
down
good.
through.
It's a great thing that we have here, great.
And it's only $7,500.
And what does RSI stand for?
Rapid sequence intubation.
Ah.
You basically put them in
Okay.
you paralyze them,
Yeah.
so when you do it, their lungs won't work anymore. And so if you don't do it right, then their lungs don't, you know what I mean? It's-
Yeah, you can do damage.
Well, yeah, death, yeah.
That's the result.
There's no getting out of that.
No.
It's beyond damage.
Wow.
So we mutual aid RSI, that motorcycle one on Weirs Boulevard, the woman, we outside her.
We had 2 on transport ambulances coming down the highway.
Yeah.
Recently.
Coming from north.
And then we've had a bunch on, not a bunch on our own, but enough on our own that
How
it's made us.
How often do you do it?
I'd be lying if I told you a real number, but I'd say once every, probably 2 months. Once
Yeah, I was
every,
gonna say 6 to 8 times a year we do it.
yeah. Enough that it makes a huge difference on those calls, especially the bike parks on the highway. Those are,
Looking for a
Can I
motion
say
on
cool
total-
shit out loud? That's awesome.
So moved.
Looking for a motion on the total EMS
So
line,
moved.
for how much?
The total EMS, 73,525.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All right, moved and seconded, this further discussion? All right, there being no further discussion, all those in favor of the motion on total EMS of 73,525, please signify by saying aye.
sorry.
Any opposed? I'm an aye, but I'm a yes, so none opposed, motion passes. Vehicles, no vehicles. Good,
Rescue equipment.
then we got rescue equipment.
We're replacing, I assume, just all the dated
The
roles
expired.
expired. so,
Yes, yes.
just the general housekeeping.
All right, looking for a motion on total rescue equipment.
I'll make a motion for 18,745.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, it's moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All right, there being none, all those in favor of the motion on total rescue equipment, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? There being none, motion passes. Are we done now?
We're done.
Okay. So we have to schedule anything?
We're gonna have to schedule, another meeting for warrant
Warrant
articles, but
You'll let us know what?
I will let you know.
Okay, so motion to adjourn?
Second.
Non-debatable. I usually like to make those motions.
So it's,
Can't second the motion.
Wait a second.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, thanks, chief.
Why did we meet here tonight?
Because the.
They did, somebody felt
Oh, yeah,
claustrophobic with
Kevin
downstairs.
felt claustrophobic.
Yeah, thought it was